Hi there, friend. If you're in your 50s, 60s, or beyond, this video is for you. Because even when life slows down a little, something strange can happen. You might look around and think, I should feel peaceful. Things aren't as hectic as they used to be. But deep down, you might still feel tired. Not just sleepy tired, but emotionally and mentally drained. Sometimes, it's not just the aches in our knees or the stiffness in our back that wear us down. Sometimes it's something quieter, more subtle, a kind of stress we don't always notice, but it lingers. You've made it this far through life with strength and resilience. You've raised families, built careers, cared for others. You've weathered storms that younger folks couldn't even imagine. But as the noise of everyday life starts to settle, a different kind of weight can begin to appear. Not the big events that shake the ground, but the small things. The invisible burdens. The quiet pressures. These are the things we often don't talk about. The ones we brush aside with a smile. And yet, they drain us. They chip away at our peace, our clarity, and yes, even our energy. So today, let's take a gentle journey together. No judgment, no pressure. Just you and me, uncovering the hidden stress triggers that might be quietly affecting how you feel. Because understanding them is the first step in letting them go. And you deserve to feel light again. You deserve rest, not just in your body, but in your spirit. In this video, we'll count down 6 silent energy drainers that may be showing up in your life without you even realizing it. Some may surprise you. Some may feel all too familiar. But with each one, we'll talk about why it happens, and more importantly, what you can do about it. Let's begin with number 6, unspoken loneliness. Loneliness isn't always loud. It doesn't always look like someone crying in a dark room or sitting alone at a window, watching the world pass by. Sometimes loneliness is quiet. It hides behind polite smiles, behind phrases like, I'm fine really, or don't worry about me. It can be masked by routines, watering the plants, watching TV, tidying up the same bookshelf for the 3rd time. We keep ourselves busy, not always because we want to, but because silence can feel too loud. You see, sometimes we convince ourselves that we're okay because we've gotten used to being alone. We tell ourselves, this is just how life is now. And maybe that's true in part. Maybe the kids have grown up, the house is quieter, the phone doesn't ring as much. But even when we've adapted to solitude, there's still a part of us that longs for warmth. To be seen, to be heard, to be remembered. Not because we're weak, not because we're needy, but because we're human. I want to tell you about someone, Mr. Harold. He was 72, a retired history teacher. Sharp as a tack, with a gentle smile and a love for jazz music. After his wife passed away, he kept the house tidy, stayed polite with neighbors, and even helped his grandkids with homework when they visited. From the outside, Harold looked like he had it together. But inside, something was missing. He stopped cooking for himself. Meals became toast and tea, or sometimes just crackers. He stopped listening to the radio shows he used to love. Afternoons felt longer, heavier. Then one day, something small happened. A neighbor knocked on his door, invited him to a local community book club, just for one evening. Harold almost said no. He didn't feel like talking, but he said yes. And that night, he laughed. He shared a story about his old classroom. He listened. And for the first time in months, he didn't feel invisible. He kept going. Every Thursday, that little group became something beautiful. He started cooking again, bringing banana bread to meetings. His spark returned. Now, maybe you're not Mr. Harold, but maybe, just maybe, there's a quiet part of you that relates. You don't have to wait for someone to knock. You can be the one who reaches out. A phone call, a message, a simple walk to a nearby gathering, even joining a group online. Yes, even if technology feels a bit tricky. It's not about changing your life overnight. It's about opening a door, making room for connection, one small moment at a time. You deserve to feel connected. You deserve to be seen, to be heard, to be included. And more than anything, you deserve to know this. You still matter, just as you are right now. Let's keep walking through this together. 5. Mental clutter and unfinished business. Have you ever had so many thoughts swirling in your mind that even sitting still feels exhausting? You're not alone. Our bodies may be slowing down, but our minds, they often stay busy. Even when we're not doing much, our thoughts keep running, like background noise we've gotten used to. Problem: the weight we can't see. Picture your mind like a computer with too many tabs open. One tab for the things you meant to do. One for the things you wish you'd said. One for the photos you've never organized, the thank you note you never wrote, the drawer you haven't dared to open. None of them scream, but together, they drain you. They take up emotional space. They cloud your clarity. And over time, they can leave you feeling foggy, restless, and tired, even if you've done nothing at all. Awareness, the exhaustion of an active mind. Sometimes we feel tired and we assume it's just age. But what if part of that exhaustion is mental, emotional? A mind that's always on, remembering, rehashing, regretting, worrying, is a mind that never truly rests. And when the mind can't rest, the body follows. Story: Linda, 68. Let me tell you about Linda. She's 68, a widow, a grandmother, and a beautiful soul with a gentle heart. After her husband passed, she found herself surrounded by things. Boxes in the garage, paperwork she didn't understand, his tools' old receipts, birthday cards, a half-finished journal, and a list of names, friends she hadn't called back in years. She wasn't a hoarder. She wasn't messy. But the clutter wasn't just physical, it was emotional. Every time she walked past those boxes, she felt a quiet ache, a tug of guilt, a whisper of, "You should deal with this." But it was overwhelming. Then one day, she made a simple decision, just one drawer. She sat with it. She let herself remember. She laughed at an old photo. She cried over a letter. She even wrote to an old friend she hadn't spoken to since the funeral. She never sent it, but that was okay. With every drawer, every little step, she felt lighter. It wasn't about tidying her house, it was about unburdening her heart. Solution: gentle steps forward. If you're feeling overwhelmed by what's undone, please hear this. You don't have to do everything. Start with one thing. Just one drawer, one envelope, one name on your list. Call someone, let go of an item that carries weight. Write a letter you don't have to send. You're not erasing the past, you're giving it a place to rest. It's not about perfection, it's about peace. Reflection: a clearer mind, a lighter soul. Clarity is peace. Peace is energy, and you deserve both. Letting go of the clutter, mental and physical, isn't giving up. It's making space for joy, for calm, for the things that matter now. You are not behind. You are not too late. You're simply making room for your own peace. 4. Silent guilt about resting. Let me ask you something, friend. When was the last time you sat down, really sat down, and let yourself rest without feeling bad about it? For many of us, rest doesn't come easily. Not because we don't want it, but because somewhere along the way we were taught it was a luxury, or worse, a weakness. Problem: the hidden pressure to keep going. We were raised in a generation that believed in hard work, getting up early, keeping the house clean, staying productive, being useful. And there's so much beauty in that ethic. But it also planted a tiny seed, the idea that if we're not doing something, we're not valuable. So even now, when we've earned our rest, when life finally gives us room to breathe, we resist it. We feel guilty taking a nap. We scold ourselves for reading a book in the middle of the day. We apologize for moving more slowly, as if we've done something wrong. But friend, that guilt? It's not truth. It's just a leftover habit. And it's time we let it go. Awareness. Rest is not laziness. Rest is not laziness. It's healing. It's restoration. It's your body and your soul whispering, "Let me catch up with all you've carried." Rest is not the opposite of purpose, it's part of it. And most importantly, you've earned this. Every load you carried, every early morning, every long day spent caring for others, holding things together, staying strong when it was hard, you've earned your rest. Not just because you worked hard, but because you are human. And humans are not machines. Let me tell you about David. He was 70, a quiet man, steady and strong. He had worked in construction for nearly 50 years, always on his feet, always fixing something, always providing. But when he retired, something strange happened. He didn't feel free. He felt uncomfortable, like he was doing something wrong by sitting still. He tried staying busy, fixing things that didn't need fixing, cleaning tools that no longer had a job. But there was an ache, not in his back, but in his heart. Until one day he found an old box of paints from his youth. He had forgotten he used to love art. He picked up a brush just for fun. He dipped it in color. He painted not to sell or impress, but to feel. And in that quiet afternoon, something inside him relaxed. Each brush stroke became a permission slip to breathe, to slow down, to be more than just useful, to be joyful. Now he paints every morning, sometimes landscapes, sometimes nothing at all, just color and calm. Solution: give yourself permission. You don't need to earn rest anymore. You simply need to allow it. Take that nap. Sit in the sun without a reason. Let your tea get cold because you were lost in thought. Watch the birds. Do nothing on purpose. That's not wasted time. That's life being fully lived. Reflection: your worth is not your work. Listen closely. You are allowed to slow down. Your value is not measured by your productivity. Your worth was never tied to how much you could do in a day. It was always in who you are, your presence, your heart, your wisdom. And now, it's your time to rest without guilt, to breathe without apology, to live gently. You've given so much to others. Now it's time to give something beautiful to yourself: peace. 3. Outdated self-image. Sometimes, the hardest part of aging isn't the wrinkles or the slowing down. It's the quiet feeling that we no longer recognize ourselves. We look in the mirror and see a different face, one with lines and softness where there used to be angles and speed. But deeper than that, deeper than appearance, we often carry an image of who we used to be. Problem: holding on to an old identity. We hold on to our old titles. The mother who was always needed, the father who provided, the manager, the caretaker, the fixer of everything. And when those roles fade, when the house is empty, when the office keys are handed over, when people stop asking for help, we can start to feel invisible. Like we've been retired not just from work, but from identity. But here's the truth, dear friend. Sometimes we cling to who we were, and it quietly hurts who we are becoming. It keeps us frozen in an old chapter when the story is far from over. Awareness: you're still becoming. You might think your best days are behind you, that your role was once to nurture, to solve, to carry others. And now, without that, you feel undefined. But here's the beautiful, liberating truth. You are still becoming. You are still learning, still growing, still worthy of discovering new parts of yourself. Even now, you are not a photograph frozen in time. You are a river moving, shifting, evolving. Story, Evelyn, 66. Let me tell you about Evelyn. She's 66. For most of her life, she was a mother. That was her pride, her joy, her purpose. But when her children moved away, first one, then the other, her world grew quiet. She started to feel invisible. She would walk into a room and feel like no one saw her. Like her usefulness had expired. She told herself, I had my time. Now I'm just here. But something changed. One day, her niece asked if she'd speak to a group of young women online, just to share her life story, her lessons. She almost said no. What could she possibly offer now? But she said yes. And the moment she spoke, something happened. The girls leaned in, they listened, they laughed, they cried. And Evelyn, she lit up. She realized she still had something powerful to give, herself. Not as a mom, not as someone from the past, but as a mentor, a voice, a wise woman. That moment wasn't a return to who she was. It was the beginning of who she was becoming. Solution: update your story. If you feel stuck in an old version of yourself, it's time to update your story. You are not just who you used to be. You are who you are today, and who you are still growing into. Try something new. Say yes to a different kind of title: artist, reader, friend, student, creator, explorer. You don't have to let go of the past to grow. You just have to stop living only in it. Reflection: a story still being written. You are not a chapter closed. You are not a footnote in someone else's book. You are a story still being written, with wisdom in every sentence, courage in every paragraph, and grace on every page. You still have so much to say, so much to give, so much to be. Let's keep writing that story together. 2. Hidden health anxiety. Let's talk about something most of us don't talk about, but feel almost every day. You feel a twinge in your chest, a new ache in your hip, a sudden dizziness when you stand up too fast. And before you even say a word, your mind runs wild. What if it's serious? What if it's the beginning of something worse? But instead of saying anything, you stay quiet. Problem: quiet fears that steal our peace. As we age, it's normal for the body to change. But with those changes often come silent fears. We don't want to be dramatic. We don't want to worry our families. So, we keep it inside. We tell ourselves it's nothing. Maybe we search the internet late at night, reading articles that scare us more than help. Maybe we smile through doctor visits, saying everything is fine when it isn't. And while we try to protect others from worry, we carry the stress ourselves quietly, constantly. Awareness: anxiety that lives in the background. This kind of hidden stress doesn't shout, it whispers. It sits quietly in the back of your mind, draining your energy, your joy, your sense of peace. You may not even notice how much space it's taking up, how much it wears on your body and mind, just to wonder if something's wrong. And the truth is, it's the not knowing that's the most exhausting part. Story: Carlos, 69. Let me share about Carlos. He's 69, a retired bus driver with a great sense of humor. But for weeks, he had been feeling tightness in his chest. He didn't tell anyone. Not his wife. Not his kids. Not his friends. He was terrified it might be a heart problem, and the thought alone made him freeze. He didn't want bad news. So he waited and worried silently. But one morning, after waking up in a cold sweat, he finally made an appointment. Turned out it was acid reflux. Easily treated, no heart issue, no danger. He laughed with relief, then got quiet. I wasted so much energy being scared in silence, he said. Now he talks to his friends about health, openly. No shame, no secrets, and he feels freer because of it. Solution: ask what you don't understand, speak about what you feel, act on what you believe is right. If something doesn't feel right, please don't wait. Don't let fear build a wall between you and peace. See your doctor. Ask questions, even the small ones. Talk to a friend. Say out loud what's been on your mind. Because knowing, even if it's hard, is always easier than guessing. And more often than not, it's not as bad as we fear. Information is not the enemy. It's the beginning of calm. Reflection: you deserve peace. Your health matters, not just your physical health, but your emotional peace. You deserve to feel safe in your own body, to have answers, to rest without worry gnawing at the edges. You are not a burden for caring about your health. You are wise, brave, deserving of care. So take the step, make the call, open the conversation, because your peace matters, and you're worth it. 1. Suppressed emotions from the past. Sometimes the heaviest things we carry are the ones no one else can see. We walk through life with a smile, with strength, but somewhere deep inside, there are parts of us we've never spoken about, wounds we've never touched, tears we've never allowed to fall. Problem: pain that was buried, not healed. Maybe it was a loss, a betrayal, a moment when someone should have been there for you and wasn't. Maybe it was grief you never had time to feel, or anger you were told to push down, or fear that had no name, so you learned to silence it. But here's what no one told us when we were younger: pain that is buried doesn't disappear. It waits. It tucks itself into our shoulders, our back, our chest. It becomes fatigue, tightness, restlessness. And over time, it wears us down not just emotionally, but physically. Awareness: unspoken emotions live in the body. You might not even realize it. You might just feel tired, easily irritated, unmotivated, anxious for no reason, unable to sleep deeply. But often it's not just age, it's not just the weather. It's the weight of feelings we never gave ourselves permission to feel. And friend, you are allowed to feel them now. It's not too late. Story: Ruth 71. Let me tell you about Ruth. She's 71, a retired nurse, steady, responsible, always the one others came to for help. But there was one thing Ruth never talked about: her father's passing when she was only 16. He was her hero, her protector, and when he died, everyone around her told her to be strong for her mother. So she didn't cry, she didn't speak, she moved on. Years passed, decades, she raised a family. She served others, but every now and then, she'd feel a strange heaviness she couldn't explain. Until one day, at a local writing workshop, she was asked to write a memory that still lingered. She wrote just one sentence: "I never got to say goodbye." And something in her cracked open. She wept, not loud, not dramatic. Just quietly, fully she wept for that teenage girl who had to be strong too soon. And that night, for the first time in years, she slept through the night. She said her chest felt looser, her thoughts clearer. She didn't realize how long she had been holding her breath until she finally exhaled. Solution: expression is healing. Friend, you don't have to make a grand gesture. You don't have to pour everything out at once. Just begin somewhere. Write a letter you never send. Say a prayer out loud. Sing a song that matches your feeling. Call someone you trust. Or just sit with your truth and say, "This still hurts." Expression doesn't mean reliving the pain. It means releasing its grip. Because what you feel is real, and it's worthy of being heard. Reflection: you were never meant to carry it alone. You are not weak for having pain. You are not broken because you still feel the past. You are human, and your story matters. You don't have to carry it alone anymore. You never had to. Let today be the beginning of something new. Not forgetting the past, but freeing yourself from its silence. You deserve peace. You deserve lightness. You deserve to breathe, deeply and without fear. If you're still watching, leave a comment that simply says, "Hello." Because that's where healing starts, with being seen, with being known, with saying, "I'm here." And friend, we see you. We care. We're so glad you're here. My friend, if you've made it this far in the video, take a moment to really honor yourself. You didn't come here for entertainment. You came because something in your spirit wanted rest, understanding, maybe even healing. And that tells me something beautiful, that you are still growing, still listening, still becoming. Life doesn't end when we grow older. It transforms. The pace may slow, the roles may shift, but within that shift is space. Space for reflection, space for peace, space for a gentler kind of joy. You still have beauty to create, not just in paintings or gardens or poems, but in the quiet way you listen, the wisdom you share, the love you give without asking anything back. You still have laughter to offer, stories to tell, hands to hold. You still have mornings to wake up to, music to hum, birds to watch, conversations that will make someone feel less alone. So let today be the day you choose to heal just a little deeper. Let it be the day you give yourself permission to rest without guilt, to speak what's been unspoken, to let go of what no longer belongs. Let it be the day you remind yourself, you matter. You always have. You always will. On the other side of awareness is freedom. Freedom from the quiet weights that used to sit on your chest. Freedom from the habits of silence and self-neglect. On the other side of action is energy. Not just in your body, but in your spirit. The kind of energy that feels like hope, like renewal, like coming back home to yourself. And here's the most beautiful part: your future self will thank you. For every drawer you cleared, for every emotion you honored, for every step you took toward peace. You are not behind. You are right on time. You are not fading. You are unfolding. And we're so grateful that you're still here, still trying, still loving, still you. If this video meant something to you, leave a comment below that simply says, "Still growing." Because we are. Together,